Burf Maniacs, welcome back to the Burf Show with yours truly, Burf. Let's just jump right into it. Joe Mixon, he's gone, he's out, no longer a Bengal. There was a lot of chatter online about us possibly just releasing him. Good news for us, Duke Tobes did some magic. The reason why this is such a genius move, we not only got to control where Joe Mixon went, but we also got a 7th round draft pick for a player we were just going to release anyway. I know what you're thinking, Burf, pump the brakes, we just lost Joe Mixon. I was thinking the same thing until I learned that we picked up Zach Moss. Your next thought might be, Zach Moss is no Joe Mixon. And you're correct. That's because Zach Moss is even better than Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was ranked 27th last year in pass blocking. Zach Moss, 5th. Joe Mixon averaged 4 yards per carry. Zach Moss, 4.3. Since 2020, Joe Mixon lost 2 fumbles. Zach Moss, 1. Well, your next question might be, Joe Mixon was a good receiving running back. What about Zach Moss? Zach Moss had 192 yards for 27 receptions. Joe Mixon had 376 yards for 52 receptions. Now, if you average it out, they're on an even playing field. Now, does Burf think Zach Moss will get 1,000 yards next year? Probably not. However, he's going to be utilized a lot less than Joe Mixon was. Now, remember, we have Chase Brown from last year's draft. Burf is willing to bet it's going to be a shared backfield between the two. Now, I don't know who's going to be the third down running back because Zach Moss has showed great pass blocking. But Chase Brown has the speed and that check down pass can be dangerous. Now, there's another free agency pickup that made Burf very happy. Geno Stone, who formerly played with the rivals Baltimore Ravens, signed with us today. Geno Stone did not play a primary role for the Baltimore Ravens. However, Baltimore Ravens do not know how to utilize talent. The good news is Geno Stone has a higher Pro Football Focus grade than any of our other free safeties. For instance, Dax Hill is only at a 51 Pro Football Focus grade. Now, we still need help at strong safety because Nick Scott has a PFF grade of 44, one of the lowest on the teams. But great news, former strong safety Vonn Bell was just released from the Carolina Panthers. He was a previous Cincinnati Bengal who helped lead the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Now, Burf believes if we can pick up Vonn Bell, we'll have the best safety tandem in the league.
Take a look.
There is some bad news. We did lose Chido Awuzie, so we will have to pick up another cornerback in the draft. Now, we also picked up tight end Mike Gesicki. He played 5 years for the Miami Dolphins and 1 year last year for the New England Patriots. Although last year, he's completely dog water. Now, this is not out of the ordinary for the Bengals in the last couple of years. Typically, we take a tight end who was previously good, struggling now, and then we bring him onto the Bengals. He gets to play with the greatest quarterback of all time, and that makes him then move on and proceed to a better deal. Now, other big news is T. Higgins requested a trade. There's a lot of people freaking out about this, but Burf is not. That's because his agent, David Mulugeta, is the same agent for Jesse Bates, Budda Baker, Deshaun Watson, Christian Wilkins, Jalen Ramsey. And what do all these players have in common? They get high guaranteed contracts, big contracts. And the Bengals have yet to get a deal done with David Mulugeta. And if you're asking Burf, I hope we never get a deal done with David Mulugeta. The good news is the only other player that we have left other than T. Higgins is Joseph Osai, who's represented by David Mulugeta. And if you ask Burf, I'm fine with letting Joseph Osai go after his contract. Don't get it confused because T. Higgins will still be a Burf Maniac this year. That's because it's standard protocol for agent David Mulugeta to ask for a trade after a franchise tag. Now, the Bengals don't have to respect this trade whatsoever. So really, the trade request means nothing to us. But the final note is T. Higgins is likely not to be a Bengal after 2024-2025 season. Now, as of recording this, there are still some notable Bengals on the free agency block. We have Tyler Boyd, DJ Reader, and Jonah Williams. Now, lastly, I just want to cover some of the rival pickups, which would be Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and Chiefs. The Steelers picked up Patrick Queen and Russell Wilson. Now, quite honestly, Burf is not worried about the Russell Wilson ran offense. Now, what I am a little worried about is Ravens picked up Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can be a force to be reckoned with. However, he doesn't seem to stay healthy for a full season. And in typical Ravens fashion, they pick up an older free agent. Now, Browns have picked up Naheem Hines from Buffalo. He can be a decent running back, but Chubb is still going to be in that starting position. They also picked up a backup for when Deshaun Watson is benched, and that's Jameis Winston. And to match their other mediocre signings, Browns also pick up Hakeem Adeniji, who couldn't block for Burrow whatsoever in the Super Bowl. Now, the Chiefs picked up Darnell Mooney, so they finally have a wide receiver, but the Bengals destroyed him with Tyreek Hill. So I could only imagine, as long as they don't get 5 downs next year, what the Bengals can do to them. They also signed Chris Jones, but I think as long as we address the right guard and the right tackle position in the draft, Burf Maniacs will be okay. Thank you for watching another episode of The Burf Show. If you want to be a true Burf Maniac before it's cool, ensure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified each time Burf uploads. Thanks for watching. Burf out.
Yo, it's the Burf Show. Here to run the game. I'm a Bengals fan. That been my team with no shame.